was there for Global Television.
In a solemn ceremony at the military cemetery in Abuja, President Tinubu, alongside top government officials, paid their last respects to the 17 soldiers brutally murdered in Okoma Delta State. The nation mourns at dignitaries, including the Deputy President of the Senate and the Speaker House of Representatives, governors, and senior government functionaries gathered to honor the fallen heroes. As a mark of national recognition for their sacrifice, President Tinubu declared that the slain soldiers will be posthumously bestowed with the national honors of the Order of Niger MON for the senior officers, while the remaining soldiers were honored with Order of Federal Republic OFR.
To protect the families of our departed heroes, the federal government will provide housing in any part of our country to each of the families of the 4 officers and 13 soldiers that were among them. The federal government has also approved scholarship to all children of the deceased up to university level. Including those who are in the womb.
Earlier, the Chief of Defense Staff, while praising the bravery and dedication of the fallen soldiers, assured their families that the armed forces of Nigeria continue to stand by them, providing support and assisting in their time of need.
By your side as you confront the challenges that lie ahead. Indeed, the world is a dangerous place. We together, working together hand in hand, will make Nigeria better, and indeed, the entire nation. To the perpetrators of this violence who seek to sow division and fear among our people, take this from me. Our resolve will not wither. We will hunt you down, we will bring you to justice, and we will restore peace and security to every nook and cranny of our dear nation.
While commiserating with the families of these gallant soldiers, the Chief of Army Staff assured that the Nigerian Army will not leave them in the cold.
Has added to the care of the Nigerian Army, and by extension, the Nigerian state, 10 widows, 3 of whom are 4, 5, and 8 months pregnant, 21 orphans, and many other dependents, which include parents. While commiserating with the families of these gallant soldiers, I assure them that the Nigerian Army and the good people of this country will not leave them in the cold.
The President, governors, and other dignitaries and families of the slain soldiers lay wreath at the graveside. 21-gun salute was rendered in honor of the slain military personnel.
It is no longer news that when soldiers are sent to the theaters of operation, some might not make it back, while some may come back handicapped. Now that the 17 soldiers have been paid their last respect, what remains now is how those they left behind will be taken care of by the government which they served. From military cantonment in Abuja, Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
President Bola Tinubu has insisted that the killers of the 17 officers and men of the Nigerian Army in Delta State on March 14, 2024 must be arrested as families demanded justice during the burial of the slain military personnel at the National Cemetery in Abuja. In his address at the event, Tinubu declared that leaders in Delta State must fish out killers of the soldiers who were ambushed while on a peace mission in the Okuma community in Delta State. This came as President vowed that the killers would not go unpunished as he conferred posthumous national honors on the slain officers. The Ovie of Ewu Kingdom in Ogele's South Local Government Area of Delta State, Clement Ikolo Opukwe I, has surrendered himself to the police. This decision comes on the heels of the Defense Headquarters declaring him and 7 others wanted at a briefing in Abuja in connection to the killing of military personnel in his domain. Earlier, reacting to his name being listed among other 7 wanted in connection to the crime, the monarch in a video expressed shock. He denied his involvement and described himself as a devout Catholic and Christian who would never do such. Other persons declared wanted are Professor Ekpekpo Otto, Adewi, Dennis Bakriri, and Ekwiru Daniel Omotogbegbo, aka Amagben, and Akata Malawa, Sinclair Oliki, and Ruben Baru, and Igoli Ebi. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Kano State Command has deployed 1,384 operatives across churches as well as strategic locations. This development is meant to ensure peaceful and hitch-free Good Friday and Easter Monday festivities across the state. This is contained in a statement by the command's Public Relations Officer SC Ibrahim Abdullahi. The State Commandant, NSCDC Kano Command, Mohammed Felala, has directed the deployment of 1,384 personnel across churches and other strategic places. According to him, the personnel were drawn from the various departments of the command to complement the effort of those at the divisional offices in providing adequate security during and after the Easter celebrations. The departments include Operation Department, Critical National Asset Protection Department, Armed Squad, and Anti-Vandalism Unit. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has disowned Wednesday's Labour Party National Convention in Anambra. The Chief Press Secretary to INEC Chairman Rotimi Oyekomi made this known in Abuja. Oyekomi said the conduct of the convention was not monitored by INEC, declining to state further why it was not monitored. The Labour Party had on Tuesday shifted the convention from Umuahia in Abia State to Nnewi in Anambra State. Speaking on the venue change, Kaihinde Edun, the Labour Party National Legal Advisor, told newsmen that the party had duly informed INEC about the change in venue and date. Niger State House of Assembly said it passed a vote of confidence on the administration of Governor Mohamed Bago because of his leadership style. The motion for the vote of confidence was moved by the member representing Tafa constituency, Mohamed Idris, and seconded by the member representing Bidas II, Haruna Mohamed Dakoza. The session, chaired by the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Afiniki Yunis Dauda, representing Gorara State constituency, took many by surprise. Afiniki said the session is to spotlight the administration, positing that Governor Bago has been dogged and dedicated leader who has shown exemplary leadership style. The National Agency for Food, Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has confiscated pharmaceutical products worth millions of naira in Onitsha, Anambra State. This is even as the regulatory body has uncovered illegal factories producing counterfeit alcoholic beverages across Enugu and Imo states. The clampdown on illegal and counterfeit products underscores the agency's commitment to combating the distribution and manufacturing of illicit substances in Southeast region. NAFDAC's Director for Southeast Zone, Martins Iluyomade, announced the successful raids during the press conference in Awka, Anambra State capital. Highlighting Onitsha operation, Iluyomade detailed the seizure of 892 bottles of codeine syrup, alongside significant quantities of Refnol and Tramadol, among other controlled substances. The Commandant General, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Audi, has deployed 35,000 personnel across the country to ensure a hitch-free Easter celebration. According to a statement by the Corps spokesperson, Babawale Afolabi, the deployment comprising officers and men with targeting no fewer than 35,000 personnel is to provide watertight security before, during and after the festivity to protect lives and property, including critical national asset and infrastructure. adding that members of the public are also to support by giving useful and timely information on suspected acts and persons for prompt and appropriate response. The Armed Forces of Nigeria has declared 8 persons wanted in connection with the gruesome murder of 17 soldiers in Okwama community in Delta State. Director Defense Media Operations Major General Edward Buba made this declaration in Abuja while addressing journalists on activities of the military in the theater of operations. He says the military will do whatever it takes to get the suspects. Kikelomo Okere has details.
While fielding questions from journalists on the 17 soldiers who were gruesomely murdered on the 14th of March 2024 in Ukwama community in Delta State, the Director of Defense Media Operations says the military will leave no stone unturned to fish out the perpetrators of the heinous crime, adding that the armed forces is bent on sustaining the winning ways of the operational engagement.
Nevertheless, troops will continue with their efforts until the culprits are found, arrested, tried, and brought to justice by Nigerian law. As for citizens, you must know that you are our first line of intelligence and therefore must rise to the occasion. We have a duty to flush out the culprits, and we must rise to that occasion.
Meanwhile, during the week under review, the director rules out that troops neutralized 212 and arrested 252 persons. Troops also arrested 29 perpetrators of oil theft and rescued 244 kidnapped hostages.
Troops recovered 223 assorted weapons and 2,756 assorted ammunition. The breakdown of which is as follows: 3 M56 rifles, 115 AK-47 rifles, 3 PKT gun, among several others.
In the South-South zone, troops deny oil theft of the estimated sum of over 1 billion naira.
In the Niger Delta area, discovered and destroyed 102 dugout pits, 41 boats, 36 storage tanks, and 8 vehicles, among others. Troops also recovered 944,000 liters of stolen crude oil, over 170,000 liters of illegally refined AGO, and 1,500 liters of DPK.
The foregoing indicates that troops are weathering the storm through offensive posture and improved understanding of modus of operandi of the adversaries. The director reiterated the military high command commitment to continue to eliminate threats posed by terrorists and their cohorts. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
The Defense Headquarters says the release of 313 terrorism suspects to Borno government was on the orders of the Federal High Court sitting in Maiduguri. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who clarified in Abuja, said the suspects were detained on suspicion, but no evidence was found against them after investigation. According to him, the cases were prosecuted by the Federal Ministry of Justice, wherein the court ordered their release. The Federal Customs Service Federal Operations Unit FOU Zone B Kaduna has given an update on the activities of the unit from 17 February to 28 March 2024, saying within the period it recorded a total of 98 seizures of 21 different items, which included contraband foreign parboiled rice, used foreign shoes, petroleum products, vehicles, pasta, amongst others. While briefing journalists in Kaduna, the FOU Zone B Controller Dala Wada Chedi said the total duty paid value of these items is 769,465,000 970 naira 46 kobo. He said their operatives have remained resolute, committed, and vigilant in the fight against smuggling, and within the period under review, adding that of particular note was the seizure of 372 bags of offensive rice that were intercepted by operatives of the unit and deposited at the Kwara Area Command. A High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Jabi on Thursday dismissed charges of fraudulent conduct in the handling of the oil prospecting license OPL 245, popularly referred to as the Malibu oil deal brought against a former Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The anti-graft agency had charged Adoke before the Federal High Court in Abuja, along with Aliyu Abubakar. The former AGF was accused of collecting a gratification of 300 million naira from Abubakar over the OPL 245 resolution. He denied all allegations. You're watching Midday News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When Midday News returns, FIRS targets a 5 trillion naira VAT revenue amid EU concerns over tax evasion in Nigeria. These and other stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of Midday News. Thank you for staying with us. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria has shut down a branch of the popular food outlet KFC at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos State. Fans stated this in a statement signed by its Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Obiageli Ora. The statement added that the directive followed a social media report by the passenger with reduced who needed. The United Nations' most senior human rights official, Volker Turk, said in an interview that Israel bore significant blame and that there was a plausible case that Israel was using starvation as a weapon war in Gaza. Turk, who is the United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights, said if the intent was proven, that would amount to a war crime. The bodies of 2 people have been recovered from the red pickup truck which was underwater where the Baltimore Bridge collapsed. 8 construction workers were on the bridge when the ship struck it, plunging them into the waters below. 2 of the workers were rescued on the day, but the search continues for the other 4, all presumed dead. 4 of the 6 victims of the bridge collapse have been named so far. Officials says divers are no longer able to navigate the water safely because of the concrete and debris found in the river. They are now using sonar and scans and believe that the vehicles that may contain other bodies are encased in superstructure and concrete that came down from the bridge. 2 other missing victims who are presumed dead have also been named as Miguel Luna, originally from El Salvador, and Manos Suazo from Sandoval, a humanitarian citizen. A 15-year-old girl, another woman 63, and 2 men aged 22 and 49 have been stabbed to death in a stabbing spree that rocked Rockford, northwest of Chicago in the United States of America. Rockford police, in a statement confirming the attacks on its X handle, said the harrowing incident occurred on Wednesday afternoon. Police said the Rockford became the scene of devastating stabbing spree that left 4 individuals dead, including a teenage girl and several others injured. It also confirmed the apprehension of a 22-year-old male suspect following the violent attacks that occurred at multiple locations within the city, approximately 90 miles northwest of Chicago. In business, the Economy and Financial Crimes Commission has charged Binance Holdings Limited and two of its senior executives, Tigran Gambayan and Nadim Ajawala, who is on the run, with $35,400,000 money laundering with EFCC, which has now fully taken over the case from the Office of the National Security Advisor, has also detained Gambayan and has obtained a court warrant to arrest and extradite the escapee Ajawala, following the takeover of the investigation into the alleged financial infraction committed by Binance. The EFCC has filed 5-count charges bordering on money laundering against the cryptocurrency giant and two of its executives, Ajawala and Gambayan. Barely 48 hours after restating the need to increase the capital base of deposit money banks for improved productivity, the Central Bank of Nigeria has announced new guidelines on its recapitalization policy for banks in the country. The new guidelines were disclosed in a statement signed by its acting director of corporate communications, Sidi Ali, in Abuja. She said the Apex Bank had directed commercial banks with international authorization to increase their capital base to 500 billion naira and national banks to 200 billion naira, according to the acting CBN director. Commercial banks with national licenses must meet a 200 billion naira threshold, while those with regional authorization are expected to achieve a 50 billion naira capital floor. The CBN said all banks are required to submit an implementation plan indicating the chosen options for meeting the new capital requirement and the various activities involved with their timelines no later than April 30th, 2024. The CBN also disclosed that it would monitor and ensure compliance with the new requirements within the specified timeline. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria has expressed support for the move of the Senate to probe the Ways and Means loan to the federal government under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. The Senate constituted a 9-member ad hoc committee to probe the disbursement and usage of 30 trillion naira Ways and Means loan obtained by the Buhari administration from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The ICANN president, Innocent Ukosa, welcomed the inquiry by the upper legislative chamber and called on the CBN Governor Yemi Kadoso to learn from the mistakes of the past bosses. Okuso urged the CBN to seek alternative means of support to support the government and deficit financing and discontinue increasing Ways and Means to the government. And wrapping it up, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has laid out an ambitious roadmap projecting a leap in revenue collection from value-added tax to 5 trillion naira shortly. The goal was set against the backdrop of concerns raised by the European Union about the prevalent issue of tax evasion in Nigeria, which they attribute to the opacity of the tax administration process. Matthew Osaninkwe, head of the Policy and Legislation Division at the FIRS, expressed confidence during the press conference in Abuja. Despite possessing one of the West African region's lowest VAT rates, Nigeria has demonstrated a consistent enhancement in its tax collection effort. He also pointed out that the FIRS has broadened its tax collection ambit to encompass non-resident suppliers and is rigorously examining the tax exemptions extended to certain enterprises. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Midday News. I am Anthony Momorio.